So this was the first paper room that I made. How does a viewer see that I'm or determine that I'm different from them? It's really an extension of me growing up mixed race in Ohio. And I
Uh-huh.
really wanted to play with camouflage, right? So, but I also wanted to play with this idea of this kind of symbiotic relationship between the body and space, play with how a viewer might try to ascertain identity. Like in a portrait, we want to see the facial features. We want to be like, oh yeah, these facial features mean X, Y, and Z. Simple gestures like turning my head away or covering my face with hair were early kind of strategies to play with.
The strategies were about answering people's nagging
Asking
question.
that because that question of what are you was definitely a reality and also something that um, I think opens up a lot of questions about how we see, how we look, how we construct identity categories.
Identity. Gina Osterloh's photography won't give you an answer.
So here I was thinking about just all of the pressure that someone feels when they're being looked at and also the pleasure and pain of looking. Like looking is very pleasurable and looking can also be very painful. Looking at trauma. This was a little bit more complicated. I had a friend help me wrap my entire body in tape
She photographed the dark image of herself and printed it on cardboard.
and then went back into this space that I built out of paper and tape and went back in and held my mummified form. So I'm kind of like holding a photograph of myself. This one, it's called Grid Eyes.
The viewer doesn't get to only experience looking, they get to be watched.
And I drew and cut out, with the help of a friend, all of these eyeballs that I drew and placed them at the crosshairs of each grid line, creating this notion of the underlying grid or a cage that might be staring back at the viewer.
Just to let the audience know while you're looking, you're being seen. Tony Moronis, NBC4i.com.